Hi there friends, Kawa here with our part 2 to our Aether Raids defense video. Uh, part 2 to the Thursday one, of course. We have 4 fights today. As you can see, we ended last time on Joe over here, and we did not get one on Thursday, so this is our first fight. There are some changes that were made onto the map. I'm just going to quickly run over it, so you guys more or less know what was changed. First up, we swapped out the healer for Soph. Soph being one of the best 3 and 4-star pool dagger users, mainly because his stat line is very solid. He has 47 HP, obviously not counting the blessing, on regular, so that he is a very prime choice for infantry pulsing. He usually is either 2nd or 3rd within the infantry pulse chain. Rarely 1st, because you have people like Sylvia and Selef who easily trumps him on HP. But you will see that he has a relatively solid offensive line. His defense line is not that great, but it's something you could pad up with something like Fury, which is what I'm using. Just gonna really quickly show you guys what my Soph here looks like, in case people are interested in maybe making a Soph of their own. Seeing that Soph is part of the 3 and 4-star pool, he is readily available to anyone who has pulled on colorless. You guys probably have 1 or 2 copies just sitting around. I prefer always to use 3 or 4-star pool units because they are easier to merge up. As you can see, my Soph is here is plus 10. It only costs you feathers, no orbs required to get him there. Instead, I use orbs for these very premium skills that you can see my Soph has access to. We'll start with Cloud Myogi. The Cloud Myogi is a weapon that only shows up for the Fall Dancer banner. The Myogis are daggers where they have bonus damage to effectiveness against specific types. There's one for Cav, one for dragons, and one for armors. I prefer to use the dragons one because I see more dragons than I see armors and Cavs. If it's different for you, you can use another Myogi if you have access to it, obviously. Another reason why the Myogi is one of the best choices is because it has hardy bearing built in along with effectiveness, so hands down one of the best daggers you can get your hands on, but extremely rare. For people who are trying to do the same build as me with Soph but who does not have access to Myogis, your best alternatives would be the Cleaner, which comes from Legault, or Barb Shuriken that comes from Kaze. The reason being, the Cleaner is extra damage against anyone who has buffs on them, which is always welcome. You can also refine it for additional stats, making Soph like a little better. Same with Kaze's Barb Shuriken. The Barb Shuriken instead lowers your cooldown by 1 on your special skills, so it actually opens up his Sacred Seal spot here, so you don't have to run Quick Impulse unless you intend to use a 4 cooldown special. The only 4 cooldown specials that are really worth considering is the AoE ones, such as was it Blazing Light, Blazing Wind, and Dragon Fang. But I don't prefer Dragon Fang too much on Soph. Like, you could do it, but not on Astra season because everyone has like defense buff from Naga. Outside of Astra season, you could go for it, but I would prefer to change the Sacred Seal spot to something else. So yeah, I'm using Fury 3 as I mentioned before to pad his stats a little more. Fury 3 is very available to people, but if you feel like you want to be more offensive, you can use Life and Death instead. No follow-up here is something you don't have to follow. I'm just testing it right now. Probably the standard choice would be Wings of Mercy for him here, especially on my IP team. So if you guys remember, my Quick Impulse seal was on Lelina previously. It's now no longer there because Lelina got an upgrade. I have foddered off my Sophis here so that Lilina can get her Times Pulse. Times Pulse here is a very specifically unique skill in the sense that it lowers the cooldown if your special cooldown is at maximum. It works kind of like an infantry pulse, but not really at the same time. And it only comes on Sophis. So, as I already said, I like to use 3 and 4-star pool units and then fodder over these premium skills onto these units that are easier to merge. So Times Pulse play here is that it replaces Quicken Pulse, because it more or less is the same thing, but it's in the C slot. So I opened up her Sacred Seal slot, and so her Dragon Fang instantly goes to 4, goes from 4 to 0, mainly because of the Times Pulse. And I can't fit a 4th Infantry Pulse into the team because Thrasier here does not have more HP than Lilina, outside of when she is the bonus unit, and that's not consistent, and consistency is key. So I put Hardy Bearing onto Lilina here for her Sacred Seal slot because it will answer any Brave Ikes that show up, because we already know that she can melt a Brave Ike that tries to tank her, but with Hardy Bearing on her, she will definitely do it. Alright, the last change was Seliph got Swap onto his assist skill. The main reason this is here is because it affects the AI, and it will make Seliph be last to move instead of him charging his face first into enemies, as you guys have seen him do a few times, where he charges in, he loses his miracle ability on his Tear Fang, and it kind of sucks. So by putting Swap onto him, he will go last because it manipulates the AI order, and then he'll also swap some people out of the danger zone and put himself in the danger zone, which is fine, saying that he's a tank. But that is enough about my team. We are going to move on and talk about the enemy. This is our opponent's Kagero. She is +8 with summoner support and ally support. Korin over here, so she has some ridiculous stats. On top of that, there is a Eliwood here, as we are in wind season, so he is here for a reason. With bonus doubler being Gren over here to Kagero, her attack is even more ridiculous. Her stats are just ridiculous. She's just stats on top of stats. So that's their game plan. But I will want to point out that there are triple chill speed on our opponent, and they don't stack, so don't do that. Don't bring 3 chill speeds. You can just use different skills so that you're not wasting slots. Anyways, let's start this up. Our opponent takes a good while to set up, mainly because they are using a buffing team. They do have to avoid the sudden panic that is on my Sylvia. Sudden panic is very detrimental to people who are using buffs, because you have to beat the threshold of HP of Sylvia to avoid the panic, or you have to just a second, or you have to not be next to someone. So I just want to point out, this is what Kagero looks like right now, because she got caught by sudden panic. Remember all those inflated stats she had? She had close to 40 resistance, and she definitely had 40 defense. Now I should say she has 20 something, with 50 attack. It's really bad. And here, she attacks a Sylvia who has no defense and cannot kill Sylvia. Because Sylvia here only has, she got negged. Before she got negged, she had 20. No, that's Azura. She had 23 defense, and Kagero was not able to kill her thanks to the panic. So, when running teams like this, you have to be really careful about the setup. Also, do note that she's here, Kagura's right here, still being debuffed, but she is not within advantage range. So she's not able to attack first against my units and kill them with her still kind of inflated attack stat. So I'm not too sure what she's doing. And then on top of that, there are 2 hardy bearings on my team, so advantage doesn't work. So this was not a good idea at all. Because if he was hoping that his Kagura will survive 1 nuke and then advantage the rest of my units, I guess that kind of could work, but the issue is I have 2 hardy bearings, so there's no real way to get around that outside of killing them. But she did it, and instead she decided to go after Sylvia. And then now she's going to eat a Dragon Fang for it and die. And now Lina is just going to go teleport around and kill people. Well, after Thrasier does her little moving around, buffing people because she has no kill targets. Now Soul teleports out and kills off Naga. He could have did it without the special, but with a special he guarantees her death. And right here you see Self swaps instead of, he didn't charge him right away. He swaps Self out of combat so that he can be in front of him. Poor Lilina here is not very durable as a defender versus an attacker, so she does get killed by Naga over here, but she already did her job. She killed 2 enemies by herself, with the help of Azura dancing her. And here we're just gonna have Thrasier just melt the enemy. And by, combat going through this method, none of my dancers have to get into combat. They kind of hide out behind everyone else. And, yeah, even Self didn't really even need to go into combat. Though he did get Self out of combat, which is actually a decent move. Alright, so that was the first one. On to the second. So this time our opponents have brought a Kranya with them. For those who are not familiar what Kranya does, Kranya has a reverse vantage ability where instead of it checks her HP, it checks the opponent's HP. If the opponent's HP is under 100%, she has the ability to attack first, even if you're attacking her. So that's what it's more or less vantage, reverse vantage. And the concept behind it is really simple. She takes the advantage going first, and then because she's going first, they're going to use Moonbow so they can kill you in her first combat, using Special Spiral to reset it after she kills. So she just keep hitting people with Moonbows the moment they initiate on her. The Savage Blow is a relatively simple thing that you keep on her, so that when she initiates the combat the first time, she softens up the remaining people, so when they run into her, she'll definitely have advantage. And they also have Halloween Hector here, who is also part of the bonus unit of the week, and his dual skill here helps Kranya too, because he serves as a bolt tower type ability, so that he lowers you from 100% to less, and then she also yet again will have advantage on you. Nothing else really super special here. I'm not too sure what the Camilla is doing here, outside of maybe applying more Savage Blows, but she seems a little strange to be here. Anyways, let's go forward. This opponent's probably going to take a few turns to set up also, because they're going to probably have to get through the Tactic Room and the Panic Manor if they wanted to get Kranya in there to attack. The issue with Kranya here is that she also is dealing with double Hardy Bearing on my team through the Myogi and Lalina. So, they're still setting up, still getting caught by the panics. Alright, Kranya has broken the panic mana, and I believe she's going to go on the offense now. So here's the interesting thing. He went in on Lalina without being able to kill Lalina, and Lalina retaliates with a Dragon Fang, putting her to 7. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like if Lalina had more merges and stuff, she might actually have just killed Kranya straight up. So this is them applying more damage to my team, so that Kranya can actually pick up the kills. Though they did not break the healing tower, so I do heal up a bit. And on top of that, Sulfit still has the Cloud Myogi, so he will kill Kranya if he gets near her. And this is just more or less Thrasier doing what Lalina did last game, running around killing everybody. So here, Soph decided to go after this Naga instead of going after Kranya. He could have easily teleported next to Selef and then attacked Kranya from where the trap was, but instead he went after Naga. And this is where Selef is kind of being terrible, mainly because he just lost his Miracle to Camilla. If he didn't lose that Miracle ability, he would have tanked Kranya and killed her. But this is where it's also hilarious, because Kranya is trying to kill Sylvia here, but can't. And the healing tower is just making it harder for him, to the point where Sylvia is going to initiate on her, and she's not going to kill her. And there we go, Sylvia kills Kranya. But that's also another thing I don't like. I don't like it when your dancers get baited like that. Like Azura here. Because she does over 5 damage, she will attack, because that's what the AI is set to do. So, even if she was stronger than this, there was no way that an Azura is going to kill a bonus Hector. So, that's like the most worst thing ever. That's why I make sure I set up my defense in a way that it's really hard to bait my dancers, because I don't want them attacking. I want them to dance someone else to do the job instead of them going in. Okay, on to the third one. This one has Leaf here. Renew Gale Force Archer Overlord. Seeing archers are not allowed to have Gale Force, he kind of breaks the rules, and he's on a horse, so it makes it even less fair. Well, you would think it would be less fair. He sets up really nicely, in my opinion, but I feel like the issue is that Naysala here does not have Gale Force. He's not a Gale Force Naysala. He's just here kind of as a bonus unit, even though he's +6, which is what I find really interesting, and I'm not sure if that's a good idea.
Yeah, okay.
So, here goes Leaf. Usual stuff, he's just setting up. So Naysala goes in to test the trap, because he needs to make sure that trap is not a real one, so that Leaf can go in. Very good trap testing. Really good setup. But then this is where issues start beginning. He goes in really nicely. He kills Sulf right away. comes in to kill Sylvia. And then he's going to catch a dance from Azura. And then he's going to go pick off Lilina. But the thing is, my team has more than just 3 threats. There's a total of 5 threats. Well, 4 threats on the team. So, Lilina dies here. But now his Leaf is stranded there, along with his Azura. They're all within attack range. And Thresh here just kills Leaf. And this is where I feel like if he had Gale Force on Nasala, he would have did way better, because he would have Gale Forced it. He could have potentially killed Thracier with Gale Force and Nasala, and then killed off Azura, leaving just Seliph behind. Or maybe kill Seliph and then... I don't know. I feel like there was a way to set it up. I'm not very great with Gale Forcing, but I feel like that's what he was supposed to have did. But Seliph here, being Seliph, he just ran his face first right into Naga for no reason. But here they do realize that they have no chance of winning, because yes, they can kill Seliph, but then they can't really handle Thracier and without losing a unit, and it's not worth it to continue. Which is the right call. And for our final fight here, we have a Loki aficionado. This is a plus 10 Loki. I have nothing against people who build very specific units. Absolutely nothing against it. Just, you just have to understand that it's going to cost you money to pull it off. I go for efficiency. I like to win, so I don't really funnel my orbs into these type of things. This is also a plus 10 Loki. Spring Loki here, plus 10. 5 flowers, and as you saw, the other Loki had 10 flowers, so fully invested Lokis. But this Loki is light blessed, which is kind of weird, because I guess he ran out of blessings, but yeah. So here they go. They're going to maneuver their way into the base. They're going to attack from the right hand side, which is something we don't see too many people do. We had the Kranya kind of do it, but then Kranya attacked from the Panic Mana column. This one is going to attack from far right column.
We can see this through.
So this is where I didn't really understand what was happening, like why they thought this was a good play. You're about to see it right here. So right here, he comes here and he breaks this this Dark Shrine here that was here, opens himself up to being attacked by Lina or Thracier, or even Soph. Like, are you that confident that Loki would survive? Because the answer is you should not be so confident, because you have got hit by a debuff. And when you get hit by a debuff, Thracier will double you before you have to fight back. And she's also hit by Panic and Tactics Room. So I don't understand this play. Because now Thracier comes out and hits you twice before you can do anything. But I feel like either Lilina or Soph doing it would have been the same result. There was been no escape. So this is just Thracier cleaning up. This opponent tried to tank with a flying Loki. That might have been, that might have been the best approach for them, but I still feel like that was not the right team to bring to this map. Also, this is another example of why I like the team constantly moving together as a unit, because it opens up the team to teleportation plays, like the one that Soph just made. He walked forward, got a dance from Sylvia, and then teleported onto Seliph to get out, completing the 3-kill requirement that I want this team to have. And then I assume that Lucina realized that she can't kill Seliph in one hit. But also, even if she kills it, Thrasier is just going to finish her off, so nothing really changes. And there's still the Lina back here. So, that might have been a salty kill onto Soph there, because he teleported out and killed the third person. But, yeah, there was no way these two were going to handle these 4, even though 2 of them were dancers. Liliana here still hasn't fired her special. Oh, I said 4. I meant 5. That was bad counting on my side. Yeah, there was no way it was happening. And yeah, that's it for the battles for today. If tomorrow there are more fights that are interesting, I will film it. Alright, see you guys tomorrow. Oh, well, see you guys later.